Alright guys, welcome back. Survival Living here. So we need to go ahead and talk about what happened in North Carolina, the Substation Attack. Now there's a lot of things on social media and it's been spun every single which way. I saw it when it happened and I just sat back kind of watching everything. Right now the narrative is pushing that the protesters of a drag show in North Carolina are the high suspects, conservatives, Republicans, people that won't go with their agenda are the ones responsible for this. That's the narrative they're pushing. You know what? I couldn't tell you either way who took this stuff out. I can't. It's pure speculation from anybody at this point. But I see the narrative being pushed. I don't agree with narratives, but that's the narrative. We spoke about the attacks on substations, power grids. These things, they got a little fence around them. There might be a closed circuit TV security system put in place. It's not constantly being watched. It's, you know, the footage is being downloaded to a data bank, but no one's actively watching. There's no security at these places. You see them all the time. We drove by them all the time. No matter where we lived at, we always wind up driving by one, and it's just 10, 15, maybe 20 yards off the road. And you know, it depends on where you live at. Trees and stuff like that all the way around it near a wooded area. Yeah. So this particular one, there's actually two stations got hit there in North Carolina. This one in particular one I'm going to talk about, they said that the gate was knocked down. You know what? It's possible, but they used long-range rifles to take this stuff out. So take it as a grain of salt. Did they ram the gate, then run up to it, then fire directly at it? Odds are they sat off in the distance if they're smart, and they just targeted what parts they want to hit and hit it. Now, weapons they used, that information has not been released yet as far as I know, but it does not take much. You could take a hunting rifle and do the exact same amount of damage and take this stuff out. All right, 30-06, 7mm Magnum, he'll take it down. What do they use? Well, odds are they'll try to spin it on the AR, of course. They're always after that one. So they'll try to spin it that way. Everything's close lip right now. They're not saying who did what type of ammunition was used, what type of firearm, nothing. Nothing's coming out. All they're pushing is the narrative. And here's another thing. I spoke about this in the past. When we see protest groups get together, we're going to make a stand, we're going to go do this, and I've always said, do not go to this stuff, do not type this stuff online. Reason being, case in point, they're currently questioning everyone that attended this, the protest against the drag show. Yeah, they track all of you. They track me right here. I've already been in the system. I know they watch me. That's why I've always said, be careful what you type here on this channel. Be careful what you type in social media, Twitter, Facebook, all of them. Rumble, all that stuff. None of it is safe. The whole internet is a complete CIA op. It's designed to learn more about you. That's what the internet's for. There's nothing good about it. It was designed to find out how you think, your routines. You don't think that they keep a log of every time you've ever logged in, what time you've ever done any type of activity online? They're getting your sleep patterns. Yeah. Good old coffee. So, now with this power outage, ladies and gentlemen, they've done everything except for saying domestic tease. All right? Those guys there. Domestic terrorism. I don't know who did it. What I've always said in the past is easily done. This is not the first time this has happened. This happened back many years ago back in California. We did reports on that when we first started our channel, talking about the dangers of the substations. They're not protected, easily take out. Now this particular attack took out the power of 40,000 people there in North Carolina. With that, I want to pull up what some of the customers, people that are actually being affected. You can't cook, You can't turn on the TV. You can't turn on a light. I don't want to take a shower because it's freezing cold in my house. Now this happened Saturday evening. I believe it was 7 p.m. And they're not expecting to have power restored until possibly Thursday. All right, just a few days, right? No big deal. I'm going to see those comments there. It's winter time. North Carolina, it gets cold. It gets snow. This is why we've always pushed prepping, self-reliance, having a way of cooking food, having a way of heating your home, having a way of powering up. You might not be able to power up your whole house, but you can power up items that you need to survive with. Now, I've seen the comments, well, you don't need power to survive. You know what? You're absolutely right. I've proven that doing outdoor survival, which most of these people are too chicken shit to even attempt. They like to talk a lot of big stuff, but they won't actually do it. You can survive without power. But what about the people that cannot survive without power? People that is hooked up on medical equipment, that is reliant on power. What about people that has CPAP machines? They can't breathe without it. What about these people? Just because you claim to be able to survive without power doesn't mean the other 40,000 people affected can. Now, this whole studio is powered up with a solar generator. We've done reviews on these things. Under $2,000, get your solar generator. You got something that's going to power up items in your home. But what I've always stressed out, $20 kilowatt meter. You figure out how much power you need before you go buy a solar generator. You don't want a solar generator? Get you a gasoline generator. All right, you can get a gasoline generator, a 4,000 watt one for, like $300. But you need to keep fuel on hand. You need to run your gasoline generator and see how long a tank of fuel actually runs you under full load. Do you have the equipment to repair that generator, keep it serviced? Oil filters, gas, spare parts. And we just recently had to repair ours. Things happen, mechanical, electrical, things break down. Need a way of powering up items in your home. Now again, with this attack on a substation, sure, it's not a full-blown SHTF moment, but for 40,000 people right now, it is a shit hits the fan for them. It affects them. SHTF comes in many different forms. Just because it's not Armageddon doesn't mean people can't die from this. They can. No power? I want you to think about something. What if they already had their snow? Can't get out. When I lived in North Carolina, we used to get ice storms. 2 weeks, you're stuck there. You ain't going nowhere. With those ice storms, we were always prepared, living there all the time. We knew power would fail, so we'd always have everything in place. But the mentality of most Americans nowadays isn't preparedness. It's instant gratification. In other words, the way of the prepper, the way of our forefathers, our ancestors, our grandparents, all these people that came before us that did not have the means of technology that we have today. They had to work hard every day to survive. That's gone. Everybody today is just a real quick click of a button. In a couple of days, you'll get your item. Or pay a little extra, might get it the same day. Now, along with alternative power, alternative ways of cooking. Ladies and gentlemen, we have went over propane stoves. These are just the 1 pound propane tanks. Yes, they went up in price big time. Now you only get 2 for $10 compared to 2 for $4.88. You can use the 20 pounders with the adapter hose as long as the grill that you purchase can take the adaptation on that. It's got a regulator. We've shown these items. People argue with me which one's the best. I don't care which one's the best. If you only got a couple of these tanks and a $40 gas grill that you can cook food with, because that's all you could afford at the time, hey, guess what? You're cooking hot meals right now during this power outage. All right? Now, when it comes to running a propane stove, Everybody will disagree with me. I don't care. I'll come at you with facts, not, well, you did this and you're okay. Clearly, caution, carbon monoxide hazard. Burning propane gas makes carbon monoxide CO invisible, has no smell, can kill you. Burning propane in a tent, camper, van, or other indoor enclosed areas can be dangerous. That includes your home. Use it in a well-ventilated area. If you use this stuff indoors, all sealed up, and you're still alive, congratulations. I don't recommend it because there's a lot of people that die from carbon monoxide poisoning. Well-ventilated area. Coffee. I have many. You can survive without coffee. Sure, people might not survive me when I don't have coffee. Having multiple ways of cooking food. You know, with our solar generator, yeah, we could run our solar equipment for a while and cook. All of our electronic equipment for cooking. Sure, we've already amped out and gauged out what we have. We have a list of exactly how long we can run stuff. Having a propane burning stove. Cooking food, making coffee. All right, you can survive without coffee. You need to have food. Now, depends on what part of North Carolina they are in. If they're in the city that's reliant on city water, they might be having issues with water. All right, if you have a well, you should be okay if you have a way of powering up yourself. All right, if you don't, you can't get it out, and the old hand-drawn wells are gone. Most of them are. These people are going without water too. Gotta have things in place. Shit hits the fan comes in many different forms. I see it all the time because I'm not screaming hellfire and brimstone that the end of the world is coming. No one wants to hear it. We as preppers prep for as many scenarios as possible. Even a limited power outage that it's only for a few days. If you're prepped, you get to test out your equipment now, don't you? Which you should have already been doing. So guys, keep prepping. You can prep for the end of the freaking world if you want to. I prep for as many possible scenarios. As many possible scenarios. Fortunately, when you're prepping, your preps go hand in hand with each other for scenarios. All right. Now, with this attack on a power station, sure, people can leave their homes because they're not snowed in. They can go get a motel. They can go do all this other stuff if they have the finances. I grew up in North Carolina. I grew up in a poor part of North Carolina, up in the mountains. You weren't visiting anywhere. You're stuck at home. So, with this being said, please keep prepping. It's not a game. You don't have to prep for the super volcano. You don't have to prep for nuclear war. What you need to do is prepping so you can provide food, provide clean drinking water, provide heat, provide lighting and security for your family. You don't have to prep for the end of the world. Should you? In my opinion, yes. Especially with all the crap going on right now overseas with the drone attacks. And I did put it in air quotes. The drone attacks on nuclear bombers in Russia. You're going to tell me Ukraine was able to pull that off by themselves? Here, there's a clip here for you. It should be up there playing. Of course, Russia said they knocked it out with their missile defense. Of course, they got to say that. You don't want to show any form of weakness. But they said the explosion was them blowing it up. To me, that looks like a missile strike. That's what that looks like. That doesn't look like a drone got blown out of the air. You think Russia will not retaliate on something like this? I believe they will. To what extent? I don't know. I prep for as many things as possible. That's what I prep for. I cannot control what other countries do. I cannot control war or the outcome of war. What I can control is how I provide for my family during a wartime scenario, during an SHTF event. That's what preppers do. when the shit hits the fan, it's no longer a game. All right, guys. Speak to y'all later.